Welcome back to JENNX Talks, a podcast for the bold, the burnt out, and the ones building better. I'm Jennifer Flynn, clarity dealer, legacy whisperer, and sometimes a smoke signal in the noise. This show is where we talk about the truth behind leadership, growth, and what happens when your identity no longer fits the business you built. We say the thing, we pull the thread, we build again, but this time without the performance. So, welcome to episode 5. You don't need a visibility plan. You need permission to show up differently. Because it's not your content strategy that's stuck. It's the part of you that's afraid to be seen differently than how you were first celebrated. If visibility feels exhausting, this one's for you. So let's start with the obvious. You don't have a visibility problem. You've shown up before, you've launched, you've built momentum, you've served the clients. You know how to put things out there, post, speak, teach, sell, serve. But now it feels heavier, clunkier, almost like everything you say is filtered through a lens of pressure, perfection, or people who expect you to be. It's not that you don't know how to be visible. It's that being visible as this new version of you feels like a risk. That's not a strategy gap. That's a permission wound. So let me offer you this week's metaphor: the spotlight and the cage. Imagine you're standing under a spotlight, one that you built and once loved. But over time, that spotlight starts to feel more like a cage. It doesn't move with you. It doesn't allow nuance. It just expects you to keep standing in the same pose, saying the same things in the same tone. And every time you try to shift or evolve, you're afraid that spotlight's going to turn off. So let's look at the case of two founders. We've got founder 1, had killer visibility, rhythm, weekly lives, speaking gigs, leads flowing in like crazy, does all the visibility things, podcasts, loud and proud on social. She was on fire until she outgrew her message. Now, every attempt to post felt forced. Her voice didn't fit anymore, but her audience still expected the old version. Founder 2 took a break, but not out of burnout, out of alignment. She paused to hear herself again. And when she came back, it wasn't with more volume, it was with more resonance. Her visibility wasn't louder, it was cleaner. And it converted more because it actually felt like her. This is the difference between performed visibility and permission-led expression. So let's talk about those two things. Performed visibility says, what do they want to hear from me? Permission-led expression asks, what needs to come through me? One feels like a performance, the other is presence. And I'm going to go back and read them again because it's that important. And this is a nuance that most founders don't really realize that there's a distinction between. So again, we're going to look at this performed visibility and permission-led expression. Performed visibility says, what do they want from me? Permission-led expression asks, what needs to come through me? Or I might say, what do I want to say? What do I have to say? Which is the entire reason this podcast exists, because I want to talk about what I feel like needs to come through me, what I need to say, what also lights me up and that is interesting for me to express. One is a performance, the other is presence, and being firmly rooted in your own truth and authenticity. So I'm going to offer you some reflection questions on this, because I always want you to think about things. What version of your voice are you afraid to let people hear? Where are you holding back, not because of strategy, but because you're still wearing an old identity? What would change if you believed that this version of you is more than enough? Let yourself tell the truth. Even if your strategy hasn't caught up yet, even if you don't know what to do about it or how to make the pivot or the shift within your business, let yourself tell the truth. The strategy can come later. The clarity has to come first. So here's your inner frequency moment for this week. Visibility isn't about platforms. It's about permission. It's about the inner calibration, that energetic yes that you feel in your whole body that says, I no longer need to be palatable. I'm here to be potent. Because when your inner frequency is clean, your voice lands differently. And that is what makes you magnetic. So today I want you to ask yourself, if I didn't have to keep proving I'm relevant, what would I say? If no one expected anything from me, how would I show up? Then try saying it in a post, in a voice note, a text to your best friend, anywhere. In the comments to this podcast, in an email to me, just say it. Or what I often tell my clients, JFDI, just fucking do it. So, next up on JENNX Talks, that's our official first F-bomb, by the way. Had to get all the way to episode 5. We're going to go there. So in episode 6, the season of enough, we're going to have real talk on legacy building, enoughness, and what happens when you're scaling something that no longer feels like you. You're not going to want to miss this one. But for this week, I'll leave you with this. You don't need more content. You need more permission. And you just gave it to yourself. Thanks for being here. I'll see you next time, where we say what matters, not just what performs.